Hey, this is Rick from Hiking Emergency Beacon, and today I am doing a field test comparison between the Garmin inReach Mini 2 and the ACR Bivy Stick. But before we get into all that, please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as I put out new videos. So before we get into the actual field test, let's look at these things up close right here, and let's see what the real difference is in size and what they do as standalone devices. Now, I've tested both of these quite a bit, so there's a lot of videos I've done, and you can get more information, and that information will be in the screen, in the description below. But you can see with the antenna here, it's almost the same height. This has an attachment on the back. The Mini 2 has an attachment on the back to attach to this backpack tether, so it looks thicker, but they're about the same width. Size-wise, they're about the same in weight. But real quick, I'll just say, let's talk about what they are, what they can do differently as a standalone device. I said many times that the Summer Global Hotspot, the ACR Bivy Stick, and the Zoleo are dumb devices by themselves. Because, say, for here, well, on this one, the only thing it does is you can do check-in by itself without being synced, and you can call for help. Here, this search and rescue button's down here at the bottom. So those are the only things it does by itself. So again, kind of a dumb device by itself. When synced, it's pretty smart. And the field test here, what I'll show you in a minute, is we'll show you that. The nice thing about it, it's really small. I have a sleeve right here on this Osprey Talon 22 backpack. I'll leave a description and also about the backpack. It's a really comfortable backpack. It's one of the best backpacks on the market for basically day hikes. And it's really light, breathes real well. It's a great pack. And of course it has several different, like this one here has a sleeve. It's great for putting something like the Bivy Stick in it. The difference here with the Mini 2 is that it has a search and rescue, and it has these buttons up and down the side, so you can two-way message with this device. You can get weather, you can request weather, you can see it on the screen. You can navigate just by using the screen. You can see the route on the screen, and then when tracking back, you'll see your tracks, and you'll also see the off-course and on-course visual cue information, plus you'll get an audible alert. So this does a lot of stuff all by itself, and honestly, you might even say it's just a standalone device. It's not as good of a standalone device as the Garmin inReach Explorer Plus or the Garmin GPS Map 66i, but you can do a lot with this as a standalone. And one thing that I showed, because I've already done the field test, one thing that I noticed is when I didn't do anything and navigate on these devices by itself, because I've done this a lot with the Mini 2. Again, there's information in the description below that will give you links to look at that information. What I did this time I just used the phone when synced with the ACR Bivy Stick, and then also with the Mini 2. And there were some things I felt like didn't give me these options in the app. On the Mini 2, where I was able to do more things by navigating on the Mini 2 device itself. You'll see that in this video, and plus if you go back and look at other videos I've done, you'll see what really shows up on the device. And so I'm not going to just compare all that right now. Well, stay with me to the end after these field tests, and I'll give you my advice on what I think is the best satellite messenger, and whether the Garmin inReach Mini 2 is worth the extra $150 at $400 over the ACR Bivy Stick, which today it's at $250 roughly, and that's where it's August of 2022. So let's get to the field test, and I'll show you everything about it that I know to do, and then we'll wrap it up. Here at the Dawson's Butte Ranch Open Space Trail, and I'm getting ready to start the test on the ACR Bivy Stick. All right, so now it's connected. See the little blue symbol at the top. Gone through this screen and some other videos. You can see a lot of the different things it has here. It's got on this screen, it has SOS, weather, check-in, send check-in. It shows how many credits I have left because I don't have the most expensive plan. So now what we want to do is we want to go and we want to track, and we want to go to this trail. Now I will say, when you go out here and you look farther out, there's trails all over the place, and so you can pick different types of things. You can filter, and of course I showed this in another in other field tests, so I'll put links to all that information below. But right now we're here at Dawson's Butte Open Space Ranch Trail. So right here you can also already see this icon right there. I have already downloaded this map so that if I was offline and couldn't get access, I could do it that way. But since I have the satellite messenger, I don't have to worry about that. So the trailhead is right here. We're going to click on that, and it pulls this up right here, the information about it. And the one thing that's different about this is you can't necessarily, I don't think you can follow a route, but we can start tracking. It gives all the information here about this trail. Here's the profile, and tells you how hard it is, how long it is. But what we want to do is we're going to start tracking. It's asking what kind of adventure today. It's a hike. I'm going to continue, share location. If you'd like to share your track, go to the profile screen and tap share. I don't really care about that. Enable Bivy Stick tracking. Yes. So here it goes. There's information right down here below. And how many hours, time, miles, and remaining. Gives an estimate how long. It's 4.86 mile trail. One of the things that's different about this versus the Mini 2 right now is you can't follow the route. I can see the trail right here, and I can see where we're at, and see so I'm turning left to the trail, and it's the tracks. There's tracks, red tracks showing up right behind me. It is very powerful. You know, you can see where you're at. You can see different kinds of trails, but it doesn't let me necessarily follow a route, because I've looked at this before, and it's not like you can say, hey, Dawson's Butte, follow this route or go in reverse order. So we're just going to hike here for a little bit, and we're going to see what it does if we can track back, which I'm not sure if it does that or not. But we're going to go maybe a quarter mile, half mile, and then we'll just show you everything I can know about this and what it does on the app when it's synced to your phone versus just a standalone device. You can see there's more information right here. I've only got about, let's see, 0.12 miles. But besides showing the distance and time and the total distance on the trail, if you swipe to the left, it shows the profile, max, min. It actually, I think, shows right there where I'm at on it in the red, or that's the end point. If I swipe again, now it's showing calories burned, 2.1 miles an hour, 2.6 mile an hour top speed. It's kind of nice information to have. And right there at the bottom of the screen, I can pause the tracking if I want. While we're walking here, you can see there's also the messages. I've got a lot of different messages. And there's groups. I don't have any groups, not right now. I would have to change plan, I guess, to get the groups. And then back to the stick. This just gives you basic information. Okay, I've gone about 0.23 miles, almost a quarter mile. That's all I really need to test this. There's really nothing else to do on this. It shows you your tracks, shows you the trail. It'll show you the whole trail right here. There's nothing about tracking back. It just says tracking on. You can see the information here, and you can see the tracks that's laid down. You can see there's another trail. And so from this right here, we can see we can make a shorter loop instead of this longer loop. We can see where the highway is, or it's a 2-lane road right there. And we can see our tracks out. So when we track back, we can easily find our way home. And there's other trails out here. So you can see these over here. It provides a lot of good information. That's really all that it does. But let's hike back to the beginning now. Another thing this doesn't do, now if you hit this target button up here, it'll center where you are on the map. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't give you the direction you're pointing. It just shows you where you're at, you know, on the trail with that blue dot. You know, if you're lost and out in the mountains and you need to find your way back, this will do the job. It's basically, I would say, more of a minimalist satellite messenger. On the device itself, you can do a check-in. You can probably check in as often as you want, and then you can call. There's a search and rescue button, and you can call for help. But then when you sync it, it gives you the maps and all kinds of trails all around. It's really nice because you can see the trails, and then you can get really good information on those. But that's kind of what it does. It's not super fancy and super powerful with a huge amount of tech. You shouldn't get confused by it, but it does have worldwide satellite coverage, pole to pole, with the Iridium satellite network, same network that Garmin uses. So you don't have to worry about checking where you're going in the world to see if it has coverage. The only ones that I know of right now that don't have worldwide coverage is Spot devices, Spot X and Spot Gen 3 and Gen 4. Those use a different satellite service, and they have gaps in their coverage. Okay, we're almost back to the trailhead. Let's see what this looks like. You can see there's a little difference in the accuracy of the tracks. On the tracks in and out, they're off by, I would say 20 feet or so. But I'm back safe and sound. I found my way home, and it's a good device. It's a good satellite messenger. It'll help you find your way, get information where you're at, and it's very small. It costs about $250 as of today, August 2022. Where the Mini 2, Garmin inReach Mini 2, runs around $400. So I'm going to stop this test right now. I'm going to stop tracking, and then we're going to test the Garmin inReach Mini 2, see how it compares against the ACR Bivy Stick. All right, so now we're going to test the Garmin inReach Mini 2, and that uses the Explorer app. It's different than the Mini, which uses the EarthMate app. So you can see here where the map is right here. I had the blue trail here is a route that I laid down using the phone, using the app itself. And so you can see in red, there's the trail. And so we're going to navigate using the Garmin inReach Mini 2. I'm not going to show you what it's like using the device itself because I've already done that several times on some other field tests, but it'll be in the description below. But we're going to start navigating. So one thing you can do here is you can go to library, and we're going to go and look for Dawson's Butte. It's all in alphabetical order. So here's Dawson's Butte right here. Here's it's showing the trail. And Dawson's, it says I'm 41 feet away. It's 4.9 miles in length. It says go. Now I think when I hit go, it's going to ask for enabling tracking. Now on the device itself, it will actually ask you if you want to go in reverse order. Well, I think I actually will enable tracking since I tracked on the other one also. And it's not asking me if I want to go reverse order. Normally I think when you start hiking, I'm going to go in reverse order here. But normally when you start hiking, the behind you it changes to a different color. And what's different here versus the ACR Bivy Stick is that it shows you that blue pointer, shows you the direction that you're traveling. So already you can see basically like the ACR Bivy Stick, it's giving my speed 2 to 3 miles per hour. It's giving a little more information. It gives me my elevation 6833, headings northwest, bearings 115, time moving, and moving average. You can also see already that behind me the trail is a light blue or cyan color. In front of me it's magenta. One thing I'll tell you real quick, and I'm not going to test it here, but I have before, is when you're hiking by route or navigating by route with the Mini 2 and you go off course, whether you're on the route out or back, you get off course, it'll give you an audible and a visual alert you're off course. And then if you're lost and you're tracking back, whether you tracked or not, because it keeps for 24 hours, it keeps temporary tracks of your hike. And so if you track back, again, if you go off course, it'll give you an audible visual alert that you're off course. So that's a really nice feature on the Mini 2 that's different than any other satellite messenger. You can see right here, the trail behind me is cyan. In front of me, it's magenta or pink. And then if you zoom in real close, those little blue dots are when it's sending. It's sending the send interval. I think I've got set on 5 minutes or 2 minutes. And so those are sending information. If I were sharing this with somebody, then they would get those that information, and they could be able to see where I'm at on when I'm sharing, like the share map page. They'd be able to see. It may not be called that. I'll have it up on the screen, but they'd be able to see exactly where I'm at. Well, right now, I guess I will test something, because I'm going to walk up here to the right and get off this trail so I can get away from people and wrap up this field test comparison. And we'll see if it gives me any indication on screen I'm off trail, other than this right here shows I'm going off trail, the direction, which is really nice. But the device itself, you should hear an audible alert here in a minute, and it'll show I'm going off course. Because I've done this field test many times, and I'll have in the description below, I'll leave links to showing you how it works. I'm not sure why it's not giving me the audible alert, other than what you see here on the screen. It's giving me a visual that I'm off course. You can see that real well. The difference may be that I'm using the app on my phone instead of navigating my route and track back on the device itself. Because absolutely, when I do that, it gives me the visual audible alert. And again, I'll leave this information below so you can see that field test. So we're going to stop tracking now. So you just swipe up there, and then it says stop. Now it does say right here, it says I'm off route. So it is giving me some notification. So now I've stopped. Honestly, this tracking on the app may not be as powerful as tracking on the device itself for the Garmin inReach Mini 2. So it definitely gives me more information sometimes. Now it's great because you get the big screen and on the iPhone or whatever smartphone you use, and you can see the map real well. You can see your tracks, you can see the send interval. Yeah, you can see a lot more visually where you're at. On the device itself, you'll see a route, you'll see your tracks laid down, you'll get the on course and off course message. It does a lot of stuff on the device by itself. But right there, you can see the differences between the two devices. And honestly, if somebody were with me right now and I was telling them that there's a lot of difference, they'd probably look at it and go, well, based upon what I just saw from you tracking and navigating with the ACR Bivy Stick versus the Mini 2, I didn't see much of a difference. I would say you might be correct as far as that assumption. However, that is not true at all. There's a big difference. All right, this is a test here I'm following up here at the very end. And we are going to see about tracking back. Can I track back with the app? So right now tracking there's an X on the tracking, so it's still tracking. So I don't see where I can navigate back by track back here. So I just don't see it. I don't see where to navigate back on the app. I just don't see it. It's not obvious to where this is at. Now I can follow the map back. That's not a problem. Let me just show you something real quick. I don't see it there. And a lot of times with these devices and with these apps and all that, I want something that's simple to use. I don't want it to be super complicated. Now, because I didn't use the device, but if I click on this, on OK, and I arrow down, it says stop tracking. So I didn't start tracking with this, I started with the app. So if I hit stop tracking, it says back to start, save, discard. Well, I can't figure out how to do it on the app, but here I can say back to start. So now it's loading the course. So see, there's the trail right there. You can see the tracks in front of me. If I head this direction, you know, I'm on course, right? Let's just check real quick. What happens when I go off course? Let's head over here. There's a little ravine over here. Let's say this is a river or a cliff and I'm going to fall into it. I don't know if it'd give me the alert I'm off course by the time I get to this. But, you know, let's test. So let's just see. Hopefully within 40 feet or so it says you're off course. And I'm about to fall over the cliff. Yep, just fell over the cliff. So let's keep going here. Let's say it wasn't very deep and I'm still lost. And will it give me the audible and visual alert that I'm off course? It always has in the past. Now, if it doesn't, the only thing I would say, there it goes, off course. Perfect. It does it. Now, I just fell into that ravine back there, but as long as it wasn't a real deep ravine, it'll be fine. So now I'm heading back to the course. And since it's not a real deep cliff, a steep cliff and drop off, and I won't die, I'm going to head back to it. Now I should get a audible and visual alert again that I'm on course. And I think that took 30 to 45 seconds for it to give me that alert. Sometimes it gives it real fast. There it is, on course. All right, so it works. It did not do this when I had the app. And so I've just kind of proven my little test there. While you're seeing this beautiful countryside out here, this beautiful Colorado mountains and open fields, enjoy that. And I'll just say that I think the app, from my experience with it, it's not as powerful as the Garmin inReach Mini 2 device by itself. I think it's good to have both. This is why, because I day hike and I hunt and fish and I always near the tent and all that, I can charge up on my phone. I don't need it to charge my Mini 2. What I love about this is it's convenient for me. I love the bigger phone. I like having it synced. I like the power of being on and off course and seeing my tracks on the device itself. If I ever lose sync, then I can do all kinds of stuff on my device without having it seeing my phone and being synced. Having it synced, and the device is very, very powerful. But some things are not available to see or do on each one. If you'll wait here to the end, I'm going to tell you what my opinion is of which one's the better one. Is the Garmin inReach Mini 2 at roughly $400, $150 more than the ACR Bivy Stick? Is it worth it? And the answer, I'll tell you right now, the answer is maybe. It depends on how you use it. For some people, it may be worth saving the extra $150. And for others, it can be worth it. So having the Garmin inReach Mini 2. All right, so let's finish this up, and I'm going to tell you more about it, and I'll show you some of the devices side by side, and we'll wrap this field test comparison up. All right, the field test is over, but before I go into that, I'm here in Colorado, and Colorado Springs is off to my left a little bit. Pikes Peak, you better be able to see it. You might not be able to see it. It's straight out in front of us here. And we're at the base of what they call the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains. And that's Pikes National Forest, the big mountain range right there. That's Pikes National Forest. We're at Dawson's Butte Open Space Trail. It's right by my house. It's just awesome being out here and being able to use these open space trails and to just go hiking, quick hikes, and I tell you what, just the pine trees, the high altitude, the dry air. Some people may not like it, but I absolutely love it. So let's get to the results of the field test. So what I noticed on using the ACR Bivy Stick, the app, because you have to use the app to get all the functions of it. You cannot follow a route. The trail's there, and you can follow the trail by looking at the map and go, okay, I'm on trail here, or there's a trail that goes to the right or left, and it has a lot of trails. You can see all of them. I'm sure there's a few trails that probably aren't on there, but you can see all that. And so, but you can't navigate by route. When you go off the trail, it doesn't give you any audible alerts. Now when you zoom farther out, it shows different different trails all around, these little icons, and then you can pick the trail that you want, and it'll show information as far as the profile and how long it is. So it's just it has a really good map, and so you can see a lot of good information. I would just say that it's not as powerful as the Garmin inReach Mini 2, but for $150 less, it might be the right satellite messenger for you. But you can see from the field test what it does and what it doesn't do. One thing it doesn't do is it shows you your circle where you're at on the screen, but it doesn't show you what direction you're pointing. And that's really valuable sometimes, because if you're lost out in the mountains and maybe there's cloud cover or it's at night, and you can't see which way you're traveling. Now, you could watch and see which way you're moving on the screen, and you could figure it out. But it won't tell you immediately what direction you're heading. So that's one thing the Garmin inReach Mini 2 does. But anyway, so you can see what the ACR Bivy Stick did. Now the Mini 2. The Mini 2, I have to just start with this real quick. The Mini 2 with the app doesn't seem as powerful as some of the things I get on the device itself. For example, when I was hiking, you can see the trail in front of me was cyan or pink color. Behind me was a light blue. I could see that. I could see the circles that I put down where it was sending out. My like if I'm sharing a map or something with somebody, or a map page, share page, it was a send interval. So it gave some really good information there. But when I went off course, when I walked up here to do this, to finish up this video, it never gave me an audible alert or visual alert I was off course. Now I could see on the map I was off course. And then one of the things it said on the screen was that I was off course. But when I navigated with the device itself, it would give me a visual audible alert that I was off course. You know, within probably, I've had it probably within 30 seconds. It gives you that on both visual and audible alert that you're off the course. And that did not happen when I was using the app. The nice thing is, I mentioned earlier, with the Garmin inReach Mini 2 on the app, it shows you the arrow, which way you're pointing, and that's really nice. Okay, this is what I was actually looking for, and just to tell you, I mean, I test these a lot, but there's still a lot of things I'm figuring out. At the top left of the screen, it gives you a plus symbol. And on that plus symbol, when you hit it, it says create waypoint, create course, import GPX file. All right, so I didn't test this when I was out here, but I'm going to show you right now, and I'll show you the screenshots. So I'm going to hit create course. So now it gives me a blank screen, and I'm going to click on different things here, like where I'm at. I'm going to say, man, you know, I want to go a different way back, and I can see where I'm at here. So I click these points, and I'm clicking a point that goes through this open field. It goes to the trail on the other side, back to the parking lot. And you'll be able to see this on the screen. So I've done that, and I'm going to hit save. And then here's the information on it. I think I can actually change the name. You can change the color of the course. I'm going to cancel that. And it says it's Dawson's Butte Trail. But it's, anyway, you can see that it is a different way to get back to the trailhead. That is so powerful. I was trying to figure out how to do it, and I was like, you know, I know I didn't do it on my Garmin inReach Mini 2 on the device, and I think you can do it that way. But on the app, you can once you create this route here, you can just hit the points, and what I'm looking at right now, as you can see on the screen, is a satellite image, so I can see where the trees are at. I would be able to see where a river's at, and I can map a different way back and know I'm getting back there safely. Really powerful function that this has. So now that I've done that and I've kind of lost track where I was at, let me wrap this up. I'll start with the price. $250 for the ACR Bivy Stick versus $400 for the Garmin inReach Mini 2 as of 2022. I think you could probably look on screen and go, well, there wasn't that much difference. However, when I showed you how you can create a route on screen when you're out and about, that's a big, powerful plus. There's definitely some differences, you know, from the arrow pointing to the direction you're at, being able to actually follow a route out, and it changes colors as you're going. At first glance, you might say, well, it doesn't look like that much of a more powerful device. And I would just absolutely disagree with you that it is way more powerful. It is one of the most powerful satellite messengers on the market. And for the size, unbelievable what it can do. Now, the ACR Bivy Stick is a great device. I like it a lot. Of all the devices outside of most of the Garmin's, it is one of my favorite satellite messengers. So I'm not saying things here to disrespect the ACR Bivy Stick. I love it. The biggest complaint I would have is that if you lose sync with your phone, whether your battery on your phone runs out, or maybe there's a technical issue and you can't get the Bluetooth and you can't get it connected. Well, now you're stuck with back to kind of a dumb device. When you look at the whole of what the Garmin inReach Mini 2 offers, from what it shows on what you can do on the device itself, if you lose sync, where you can still message, you can still get weather, you can still see the map, and it gives you the audible alerts on and off course. It's much more powerful device. So my opinion is, if you got the extra $150, the Mini 2 is the way to go, and it's so much more powerful by itself, and then with the app and the routes you can do, put the routes on screen, change a different route while you're out and about. So that's I guess spoiler at the very end, that the Mini 2 is still, hands down, of all the satellite messengers, including the Garmin GPS Map 66i versus the Montana 750i, the Explorer Plus, the Mini 2 is my favorite because I day hike. I'm out and about on shorter adventures, or maybe maybe I'm hunting or fishing, but I can still charge my device on my phone if I need it. And the Mini 2 has a pretty good battery, so it's my favorite device. But I would strongly recommend that if you're wanting to save money, the ACR Bivy Stick is a really good satellite messenger. It's just not as powerful as the Garmin inReach Mini 2. Well, that's it. You've seen what it does on the trail with the apps for both of them, and you've seen a little bit of information of what they do standalone device. I have a lot more videos of field tests of these to show what they do in a lot more detail, especially the Garmin inReach Mini 2, what it does by itself. So yes, the Mini 2 is my favorite. It is worth $150, but don't ignore the ACR Bivy Stick if you need to save the money and you want a great device and you're okay with always having to have it synced. Please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as I put out new videos. And thanks for joining me out here on this beautiful evening here in Colorado, and I'll see you back out here next time.